Legendary energy drink. Keeps you going.
Okay, this is Pete from Metalheadz, and I've got on the line Chris Jericho from Fozzy. How's it going, man?
Doing good. How you doing?
I'm good, man. The last time we spoke was in October last year. You were on a UK tour. Were you happy with how that went in the end?
Oh yeah, it's always a blast to come to the UK because we have such great fans there, and we kind of consider it our second home in a lot of ways because we just keep coming back. The demand just keeps getting bigger and bigger. So I think this is like our 10th tour in the last 5 years in the UK. So we're really excited to go back there and tear it up.
Oh, definitely. So what are you up to now? You in the States at the moment?
Yeah, I'm in the States. I'm in Los Angeles doing some work. Always busy, man. That's for sure. That's for sure. And we're getting ready to go to Canada next week to do some shows up in Toronto and up around that area. Then we're doing some shows in New York, and then we're getting ready to fire up to come over to your fine country at the end of June. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, you're doing another UK run. Your last album, Chasing the Grail, was released in January 2010. I was wondering if have you been working on any new material at all?
Yeah, actually, I wrote all the lyrics for the next album, and now it's just a matter of writing the riffs, which is Rich Ward's department, and kind of getting together and putting those together. And we were going to start doing that this summer, but then the opportunity came through this big tour, so we'll just do it maybe in the fall. We'd like to have something out next winter or next spring for sure.
Yeah, is it difficult, the writing process in Fozzy? Just because I can imagine all the schedules involved to actually get a new album.
No, it's not really too bad at all, because how it always works is I put together songs on their titles, on song titles, and I write those down. Yeah. And then whenever inspiration strikes me, I'll work backwards and write the song based on that title. So I knew that we were getting ready to do a new record and just started hammering down on it. And I did all the lyrics in about 2 or 3 months, I think. And so once that's out of the way, then Rich just takes those lyrics and interprets them in whatever way he wants for the riffs and for the songs. Yeah. And then we kind of get together and polish it up. So the way that technology works nowadays is you don't even actually have to sit in a room together. No, you can just pass stuff back and forth, and that's that's great.
And stuff, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Yeah.
Cool. From 2001 to 2002, you had Andy Sneap on guitar, and I was wondering what it was like to have Andy in the band. 'Cause obviously, he's a great producer, and of course was in Sabat as well.
Andy and Rich worked together on a Stuck Mojo record. I believe it was Declaration of a Headhunter, maybe. No, it was Pig Walk, something like that.
Yeah.
So he was always a good friend of Rich's, and when we first started Fozzy, he wanted to be involved, and that's when we used to have 3 guitar players, and we're doing more covers and having a little bit, more of a laugh with it than anything. And Steve always enjoyed playing with us. And it was a long time ago, almost 10 years ago now, but he still comes up and jams with us everywhere in Nottingham area and areas where he's at. So he's a good guy. It's always funny to see him.
Was it Andy that's been producing the Fozzy records as well?
No, he mixed the first 2, but Rich has produced all 4 of the studio records.
Yeah, cool. I was actually listening to a self-titled album the other day, and I was curious as to why you chose the Prisoner as an Iron Maiden cover. I was wondering, is that your favorite Iron Maiden song?
No, when we were doing basically all covers, we wanted to do covers that weren't hits. Stay away from the standard songs that everyone knew. And Prisoner just kind of jumped out. Prisoner on the first album and Where Eagles Dare on the second album were a couple tunes that me and Rich both loved that aren't, huge overplayed hits in the Maiden catalog. So that's kind of why we went with that one.
I mean, they got such a back catalog. I mean, I saw Paul Di'Anno about 6 months ago, and it just blew me away.
Yeah, they can play 50 songs and still have another 50 songs that people want to hear too.
Yeah, it's cool. Now, obviously, you're famous for being a WWE superstar first and foremost, but I was wondering, for you personally, which came first? Was it the music or the wrestling?
Actually, music came first. I became a big... I always loved music and wrestling, but I started playing in bands when I was 12 years old, and I didn't start wrestling until 19. So the first live experiences I ever had as far as performing in front of crowds was with my bands. Yeah. I always continued to play music, even when I started with Fozzy, and still played the bar scene and did all that sort of stuff. And I just had two dreams when I was a kid, to be a wrestler and be in a rock and roll band. And wrestling just kind of took off first, but music was always a passion of mine, and always something that I wanted to do. And I think that's why the band has continued to grow after 12 years. Not a lot of bands can say after 12 years that they're still on the upswing. Yeah. And that's because people know this is the real deal. This is a very passionate project for me. It's something that I believe in. It's part of who I am as a person and as a performer. Yeah. So we're not going anywhere. We're just going to keep putting out music and keep touring, and it's a good place to be right now.
Yeah, I mean, when you perform both as a wrestler and as a frontman, do you feel the same, or or do you feel like a frontman when as a wrestler, and like when you're performing as a frontman, do you feel like you're getting some of your wrestling persona out there, or is it all just I'm an entertainer?
Well, I mean, it comes from the same place. You want to entertain the crowd and take them on a ride and make sure that everybody has a great time, and like I said, we have a good reputation for that. So it is part of being the front man, as far as you're being the ultimate party host, and that does work with Fozzy or with the WWE. And my goal is the same in both, to make sure that when people leave, that they, they'll tell their friends that they'll have had a great time, and they'll want to pay money the next time I come to town for whatever one it is. And like I said, it's an honor when someone comes to see you play live, and you want to make sure you return that favor by kicking their ass, so to speak.
Definitely. You'll probably hate this question, but if you had to choose one, could you?
Well, I mean, I wrestled for 20 years and made it to the top of the ladder, and Fozzy's now 12 years in, and we're, like I said, still growing and getting bigger and doing bigger and bigger gigs. So if I had to give one of them up at this point, it probably would be wrestling. Because like the thing with music is, if nobody cared with what we were doing, and nobody nobody was buying our albums or coming to see us live or whatever, then it'd be a different story. But it's the exact opposite. There's more and more momentum for Fozzy now than there's ever been in our entire career, and you have to take advantage of that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, aside then from wrestling and Fozzy, you've been Dancing with the Stars with Cheryl Burke. I was wondering, did you do that just for a bit of fun?
Yeah, well, I mean, I got asked to do it a couple times, and both times I just was too busy and just wasn't really interested in it. And the third time I thought, why not give it a try? And, dancing is an art form, just like, being a musician or wrestling or writing or any of those things. And I thought it would be interesting creatively as a person and as a performer to give it a try. And then once I got involved in it, I kind of got addicted to it. It's a lot of fun. I mean, there's a lot of, lightness on your feet and weight balance, just like wrestling. Obviously, there's the showmanship, which is like wrestling and music, and then there's a lot of, you got to feel the beats and hear the rhythms, the syncopations, and all that sort of stuff that music does completely. So there was a lot of similarities between music and wrestling and dancing, and I really enjoyed it, man. As a matter of fact, I'm out here in LA rehearsing for the finale right now. We're doing another routine, so it was a blast. I almost feel like a pioneer. I was the first wrestler and the first rock and roll singer to ever do the show. So I'm sure you're going to see more guys do it now because of the barriers that I tore down, so to speak.
Yeah, definitely. Have you been finding that quite challenging as well? Because I mean, you're out of your comfort zone really there, aren't you?
Yeah, but I like being out of my comfort zone. I think that's you got to challenge yourself, and it's easy to do the same thing all the time and do what you know, but it's a little bit more scary to do something new. But once you realize that you can do it, like after the first dance I had, I did a fairly decent job, and I was like, I can do this, and then you start getting confidence and then start going from there. So it was a great experience, and it was great for me from a creative standpoint and from a recognizability standpoint. I mean, more people now know who Jericho is and know who Fozzy is than ever did before, and that's a good thing.
Now, I said before, you're doing a UK tour in June, but you're also going to be in the UK again for this year's Sonosphere Festival in July. I was wondering, how excited are you to be playing a UK festival again?
Very excited. I mean, we played Download in 2005, and it was a blast, but definitely the biggest show we've ever been involved with, just because of the lineup that sits on it as well. Metallica and Anthrax and Megadeth, Motorhead, Slayer, Slipknot. The list goes on and on and on. So for us to just be in that company is very very rewarding and very gratifying for us. And and I really stick to the fact that the only reason why we're on this bill is because our UK fans demanded it. It's a reward for us to play the show, but it's also a reward for all the fans that wanted to see us on Sonosphere this year and helped get us on there. So thanks to all the UK fans who are really, really like a second second family for us, and it took the band to places that we never would have been taken to if it wasn't for them.
And will you be hanging around at the festival for a little while to watch some bands? You get a bit of time off to relax?
Well, the thing is, we don't really. We have a gig every day. So I think on the 9th we're doing something in Camberley. We're having like a beer bash type of a pre-Sonosphere party. And then the 10th, I think the 8th, we're in Germany somewhere, and the 10th we show up for our gig, and then after that I think we got to go to Holland or whatever. So I don't think we'll really get a chance to see any of the bands, but I mean that's okay. It's a good thing when you're working a lot. It'd be fun just to hang out all weekend backstage, but I think it's more important for us to be playing as many gigs as we can. So.
Oh, definitely. Well, Chris, it's always a pleasure talking to you. I'm going to be at this year's Sonosphere Festival, so hopefully we'll be able to have a catch up then as well.
Absolutely, man. I'm looking forward to it.
You'll never understand, and I gotta keep moving.